Today's show is pretty much dedicated to beating to a pulp the ridiculous ideas out there of trading Nick Chubb away. So if you're with me and you do not want to see Nicholas Jamal Chubb traded away from your beloved Cleveland Browns, like today's video. The Nick Chubb trade rumors just refuse to quit. I love talking about rumors on this show. You guys know that, but only to a degree. And Nick Chubb trade rumors is just silly, in my opinion. They have picked up steam once again. In fact, it even got so much attention that ESPN and Mary Kay at Cleveland.com wrote about it. So we're going to break it down on the show. Before we get any further, though, how about we quickly cheers right now to Lamar Jackson leaving the Ravens. Feels like that is going to be a offer sheet going from another team, and the Ravens will not match it, and the non-exclusive tag will award Baltimore 2 first-round picks. But how about Lamar Jackson potentially going to the NFC? Sign me up for that for sure. Now let's get into the Nick Chubb trade rumor. So ESPN included the Browns trading Nick Chubb as one of their bold moves for all 32 teams. Now, Mary Kay just yesterday on Monday reported that the Browns have no plans to trade Chubb or any of the other key members of their roster for that matter. Now, Nick Chubb's cap hit for 2023 is $14.8 million. So I don't want to say I can see, but I can start to at least track where the logistical, reasoning is for trading Nick Chubb is that it's a big cap hit for an offense that's going to be pass heavy. I'm going to break that down later on and say why I don't think that's a hurdle the Browns need to cross. But let's discuss this super fucking stupid ESPN article about a bold move for Cleveland trading Nick Chubb away. Here's what they said. The truly bold move would be for the Browns to rid themselves of Watson, eating the enormous cost of the contract as a lesson learned the hard way. This is what they wrote. But of course, the Browns won't ever do that. They went on later to say Chubb's cap hit triples in 2023 to nearly $15 million. But at age 27, he remains a highly desirable asset, rare among running backs playing under a second contract. Cleveland has precious few tradable pieces and thus should deal Chubb while he retains value and get a strong return. It is very clear, and if you don't believe me now, you will in a couple of seconds, that ESPN hates Deshaun Watson. At least these writers do. Don't want to completely cover that for everyone in Bristol. But these writers hate Deshaun Watson, do not like the Browns, and want to see them fail, right? That is my only takeaway from them actually suggesting if the Browns were smart, they'd move on from Deshaun Watson after 6 games and learn their lesson the hard way. Cry me a freaking river. You are not moving on from Deshaun Watson after 6 games. That should not even have to be verbalized. But I cannot wait for the victory laps I will be taking next fall when Deshaun Watson and the Browns start off 3-0 and Watson's got 10 touchdowns to 2 interceptions through 4 games. That I am looking forward to. And you know what's even better? The idea of having an all-pro quarterback and running back caliber of players on the same roster. That's why I don't want to get rid of Nick Chubb. He's a really good football player around lots of other talented players. You are looking at a 7-win Browns team last year. You know what's not going to make them better? Trading Nick Chubb away. Absolutely not. But to really pour salt on this stupid ESPN article, let's look at what they wrapped up by saying. Losing an all-pro caliber player such as Chubb wasn't supposed to be a part of the Watson deal, but barring a major turnaround in the disgraced passers play, it may be the only way forward. I got a different way forward. How about you utilize Nick Chubb and Deshaun Watson's skill sets together and make the Browns one of the best offenses in the NFL with a lethal running back and a top 10 quarterback. So if you think ESPN is a bunch of frauds for this bogus article or report about trading Nick Chubb away because it's the only way forward, subscribe and join me because this is the type of content you're going to find here. When we find these outlandish rumors or ideas, and if they're really outlandish, we're going to beat the shit out of them. So subscribe right now, Browns fans, if you want to ride with me and keep Nick Chubb in Cleveland. Now, there were some more reports that came out from the NFL Combine, by the way. This one from Matthew Berry was quite interesting. Allow me to share. Look for the Browns to add a speed wide receiver this offseason to go with Amari Cooper. One source told me they are really going to open up the offense, go 5 wide, pass a lot. This is going to be Deshaun Watson's offense, not Nick Chubb's. They will pass a lot more than folks expect. Berry would go on to say later in this write-up, tons of passing attempts for Watson, likely closer to 40 a game in reasonable weather, with like 12 rushing attempts for Chubb and maybe a few touches for Jerome Ford. What Berry is outlining here is the actually only logistical and intelligent path I could ever see the Browns exploring a trade. Not for what ESPN wrote because it's the only way to save the day. No, it's if the Browns create a game plan that is so pass dominant, paying a running back $15 million to give him 12 touches a game, yeah, that would definitely be something Andrew Berry looks into because that's not really all that wise in my opinion. But Nick Chubb, he's not Miles Sanders. He's not David Montgomery, right? He's not the second tier of running backs. He's a top 3 running back in the NFL. He is the exception. You want to pass it 40 times? Fine. Nick Chubb with 12 carries, even more than that, because I don't think it's going to be that low, is going to flourish still because he is Nick freaking Chubb. So I'm not concerned whatsoever about a game plan that would phase Nick Chubb out. You don't phase Nick Chubb out. Smart head coaches don't keep their best players on the sideline. And Nick Chubb is one of this team's best players, no doubt about it. So for that reason, it's the only way I could ever see the Browns entertaining a trade. If the Browns get an offer that they can't refuse, which, by the way, we'll talk about later, they're never going to get because no one's calling to offer a first-round pick for a running back. But if that were to happen and the Browns' game plan on offense next year is run it 10 times, sure, maybe then they actually do pull off a trade. But I see both those things as extreme long shots, and you're pairing both those together. That's a huge parlay that's not going to hit. Now, would you trade Chubb for a second? The only way I see them trading Chubb is if they get a first-round pick in return. And no one's calling to offer a first. If they really wanted a running back that bad, they would just pick a running back in round 1, enjoy him having a rookie contract for 5 years, and not go to Nick Chubb, who's got 3, maybe 4 really good years left. No, they would just ride out their rookie running back. So let me know, would you do it for a second? I would not. Chubb is better than a second-round pick. I'm not interested in getting the 58th overall pick in the draft when I could have Nick Chubb. Now, we got more analysis to get to on this crazy, outrageous rumor in just a second. But we got an awesome deal with Fanatics right now. St. Patrick's Day is, 10 days away. You don't want to get pinched. You want to be wearing green wherever you're going to be going for St. Patty's Day. Producer Patrick Seatman, he's going to have no problem fitting in. That beautiful red head of hair right there, yeah, he's going to find a nice Irish girl. But he'll be doing a lot better if he was wearing this green Cleveland Browns t-shirt. Go to chatsports.com/BrownsGreen. I put that link for everyone in the comments and the description of today's show. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and do so, because when I saw this yesterday, I tweeted it out and then quite literally manually logged off of Twitter because it was that ridiculous. But I'm not going to entertain the idea of trading Nick Chubb for 2 reasons primarily. 1, you're not going to get what he's worth. I really believe that. Sure, if a team offered you a first, you think about it, because a first-round pick for, I would say, a 53 players on your roster, you consider for about 52 or 51 of them for most teams. But you're not going to get a first for a 27-year-old running back. And number 2, well, I wrote it myself. Now, before we get on out of here, we do got to get to our random Browns player of the day. This one comes in from Max Lane. He commented defensive end Olivier Vernon. One of the more forgotten pieces of the OBJ trade. Awesome up until the Achilles injury. Haven't seen him since. Haven't received much NFL interest, which is a big bummer because he was really good that season up until the injury. So Olivier Vernon, definitely a random Cleveland Browns player for sure. Shout out to you, Max, for commenting him. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Free agency it's not around the corner. It's here. I'm declaring it. Free agency's here. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you don't miss any big breaking news or juicy rumors coming out over the next coming weeks.